I'm dying to be at AnimeCon Manchester next week.
My God. Oh my gosh.
Today, we are going to be discussing our preparations for AnimeCon, but more specifically, we're going to be talking about preparing for the 2 live episodes we will be recording on the main stage on the Saturday at 2 in the afternoon and on Sunday at midday. What are the topics going to be about? What we will be discussing, and more importantly, how do we come to the decision of what topics to deal with? So that, alongside some news about what we will be sharing at AnimeCon Manchester. I'm very excited about this show for a variety of reasons. So I'm not going to let you say a word. I'm just going to go. Do, 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 do. And we're here. Crazy,
Yes,
crazy.
First things before we kick off with all of the things we'll talk about today. One, thank you to everyone who has been so warmly receiving of our most recent reel and our last 2 episodes. It's been really encouraging and supportive.
You thirsty people.
So just a genuine heartfelt thank you for all the positive messages that we've received. It's been really, really nice.
Yes, both on public forums where we post and a ton of DMs.
Yes.
No one saw it coming. And we're pleased that you were so taken aback and surprised.
Yes.
Yes.
Such shock.
Such shock. Just to address it very lightly, people who know us from convention spaces already knew the fact that we were dating. We just wanted it to be announced during a Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah.
The Valentine's Day episode never happened because ScotiaCon happened at the same time.
Yes.
So there you are.
That way instead.
That's how it, it worked for what it was. That said, again, repeating what Jay said, thank you everyone for your support. And if you don't support it, well, the best is said. Find another podcast.
Find another one. Let someone else be your Dan and Phil. It's fine.
Yes. I had never heard of these people before, and now many people seem to feel that we're the nerdy, kawaii version.
Fan is real.
Which, if you are not terminally online and you might be like, what was that French phrase? Could you explain it for the normies that got
Fan.
lost on Spotify?
Dan and Phil, fan.
So
Yes.
there you go. We stand. We love it. I'll have to check them out.
Yes.
It's like when someone's like, I don't know who Celine Dion is. I don't know who she is.
Yeah.
What did Mariah Carey say for J-Lo?
Oh, wasn't she like don't know?
I don't know her.
I don't know her.
I don't know her.
Who she is.
What do you think about people still referencing I don't know her all these years later?
I still don't know her.
Offense to Dan or Phil. I literally don't know her.
But enough of that. We're here to talk about podcasting, specifically in the lead up to AnimeCon that is happening in a week's time.
Yes.
Yes. And my goodness, I don't think people appreciate how much preparation does actually go into making this happen, especially when we're doing it live on stage as well.
Yeah.
It adds a whole extra layer to it. I'm not sure where we begin, really. Where do we begin?
So I guess the first thing would be to consider the types of topics we would like to talk about. We have now had the opportunity to do live events a few times.
Yeah.
Even in our first year, which is crazy. What? But that said, there were topics which were a bit of a miss, and there were topics which were more of a hit. One that I thought would do well, but there was absolutely no reception with the exception of our dear friend Gina, who was standing in front of us on her own, cheering us and waving from behind the camera, was us talking about the podcast itself and our plans for the future and things like that. But unless you have an already established audience, as it turns out, that kind of thing doesn't really engage people around you when you're at an event.
It's true. The podcast was also still very new, still
It
growing.
was about 6 months old, I would say.
So, yeah, it was still like in its infant stage, I would say. So
Yes.
it was, I feel like this, like a year on from then, or like a year on of the podcast, we've established ourselves a bit more, but I think that we have
Hopefully.
our little audience, a little group of people that we
Hopefully.
love.
That said, in the same weekend, we also did a second episode where I spoke about anime and its influence in the art scene, the fan art scene, and the UK convention scene.
That was a really good one.
I also spoke about my anime recommendations from anime classics that people might not necessarily know in the present.
Yeah.
And because we were at an anime convention, this made a few people stop and
Yes.
check us out and ask about, who we were,
Yeah.
why we were making a random talk in the middle of a toy fair.
Yes. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and it worked out. So choosing the right topic does help.
Yes.
At RakuCon last year, K-pop Demon Hunters was hot off the press.
Very much so, yes.
Right? And we had the best turnout for a live event. The room was more or less full.
Pretty much full, and for context, it was off the beaten path. It wasn't like some conventions you go to where there is an obvious like main stage, or you will just walk past stage. It was in a separate little conference room, basically. So you'd have to seek it out. So the fact that we were able to fill that room meant people actually was like, I want to hear them talk about this topic. So it was really, really encouraging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in reality, as long as the convention that we are supporting actually supports us back by announcing that we are actually making an episode at their event, just like Raku Events did, then people will be like, oh, I like that topic. I'll go and sit for that talk or whatever this is.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, ta-da, they're in the middle of a recording of a podcast. And then they're like, oh, wait, what is going on? And they ended up participating, which it was a lot of fun. We made some new friends during that occasion as well.
We did.
And it's the kind of energy we are after for the coming weekend. So the first question is, yes, topic, but a topic that would be engaging not just to people who follow our podcast, but who people that are at the event and are just passing by. They hear they catch a couple of audible glimpses, I guess, of what we're talking about, and maybe they will choose to stop, listen, and find out more about what we're saying. So that is hurdle number one.
Number one.
Yes.
And then what's hurdle number two then?
I'm glad you asked. Hurdle number two is making sure that the topic that we choose actually fits within the time allocation that we were given.
Yes.
In this case, we are going to be given a slot of 45 minutes.
Yes.
However, that does not mean that we are recording for 45 minutes. That will require us to get on stage, prepare the camera, prepare the mics, make sure that we are well coordinated with everything that's going on around us, and also give us enough time to leave the stage after, so we don't take up space for the following act, we shall say.
Yeah.
In our case, with a live recording, we try to make sure that we aim for an episode of 30 minutes. We try to time it. And if we go over, whoever is in charge of the stage will give us some form of sign. We will close as quickly as possible, so to make sure we don't upset or hold up any cues. But that is still part of the planning process. We need to make sure that the topic is engaging, but can be engaging enough to only talk about it for about 30 minutes. And if it needs to be talked about further, it needs to be engaging enough that people will go home and listen to a follow-up recording that we will do in our own time for it to be as lengthy as we want it to be, but it would be a different episode. So
it's an interesting, because you're almost, one thing I've always done with these sort of things, especially when it's a live event, is you're almost doing post-production in the pre-production, in the sense that, and this is a top tip if you ever do a live anything really, is if you have a structure of what you want, and you're aware of a time limit, it is very normal to just select bits. You're like, these bits can be cut for time. So like, we have a full episode, if it's going fine, but if you're keeping track of time, you go, okay, consciously we're just going to skip that part entirely so we stay on track. Because that does happen sometimes. You get so invested in something at the very beginning that you realise, I haven't got time to talk about these other 4 things, I've only got time to talk about 2. So already knowing in advance when you're doing the pre-planning, which things could I drop if I need to, because I can't edit it in post because it's live. I can't cut it for time. I need to be able to do that in the moment. So just having that foresight to be like, okay, these things I really want to talk about, these are good topics, but if I have to drop them, we can save it for a follow-up, like you said, and then that can be the part of what forms the next episode if you want to continue that conversation.
Yeah. He is so smart, isn't he? I would have never thought about that. See? Not just a pretty face. Oh wow, and now I can say that on the podcast.
Yes.
And not be weird. Well, it might still be weird for you, but it's not weird for me.
So 1, 2 down. There's a third thing as well. This is more like a 2.5, I guess. It depends on the topic of the subject. But if you listen to this podcast in a while, you'll be familiar with the fact that we have guests on the show, and we love to have people on the show. But it's not just a case of saying, hi, can you be on the show? See you at 8, and that's it. For everything we just discussed about planning topics, conversation points, you have to liaise with that guest, that person, to make sure, one, do they understand what's expected of them? A lot of guests like to have questions in advance, for example. It's not so much that it's more rehearsed. I find that not to be the case, but it's more that they can think about ahead of time their whole history, their memories, what they need to talk about. And then also sometimes they'll go through things and go like, that's actually something I don't want to talk about. And I think as a host, whether it be on podcast or on a stage or anywhere, a good host will be very courteous to their guests and make them feel as comfortable as possible. So you don't want to be in a scenario where you're just throwing questions out of left field at them that they're not prepared for and maybe didn't want to necessarily go into any depth, because then they probably won't want to work with you again.
Exactly.
So it's very much a collaboration. You're the host, which gives you the responsibility to make sure they're in safe hands. And I think even more so on a stage, when I've done live events that involve multiple people, I've done things where I pick up people from the audience and stuff. It's very much a case of like, is everyone comfortable, and are you able to steer the ship for the whole time? Because it's not always easy to do. But yeah, we've had so many wonderful guests on the show, and it's very much a case of like the initial reach out, but then continuous conversation. This is what I think about talking about. Is there anything you want to bring up? Give them the opportunity to share what they'd like to do. It very much is a collaborative thing. It's not just like a work interview where you show up and get thrown questions at you.
Yes.
It's actually very much a collaborative piece. We've collaborated quite a lot with every guest we've had on, and we will continue to do so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
In summary, just to give you an example of what all that actually meant, let's say that I stop you in the middle of the road and say, oh, quick, what is your favorite type of music? And give me 5 examples of it.
Yeah.
Generally, your mind would just go blank. And also, why did you just stop me in the middle of the road to ask me a random question like this, right? So we would prepare you in advance to let you know we will be talking about the subject of music. In parallel to that, Jay's second point was maybe you don't really want to talk about your preferred type of music on the podcast, because that is sensitive information for you that you don't feel that you need to share. Yeah. So in that case, you would still have the question, and you would be at the liberty of saying, oh, I really would rather not talk about this topic. Instead, can we talk about my favorite movies instead?
Yes.
And then we would adapt the questions based on that. So interview episodes actually take a lot more preparation, and even though we have asked a lot of our convention friends and convention contacts that we want to do interviews with them, but it does take a long time to prepare, not just because we don't have the literal physical time because we're busy. Also, we don't have the literal physical time because we're busy. But also because it takes a lot of planning and back and forth before approaching someone and be like, okay, we do want to make an episode with you. We do want to interview you. But also we think that this is the subject matter that pertains to you, that is uniquely your perspective, or that you would shine on the most, especially to teach our audience about that particular topic. What about it are you comfortable sharing? What aren't you? What would you like to talk about? Anything you would like to highlight? And that kind of back and forth.
Exactly. So again, it's all about that process of collaborating. And also, if you're not doing interviews and doing something like games, which we like to do a lot of, they require their whole other area of like preparing questions. Similar to the first point of when you're prepping an episode, it's all about research as well. Like you're going to be researching the topics you want to bring up with the guest and the games you want to play. And when we do Reddit stories, there's a whole bunch of research in that. So all these points come together that you should hopefully be ready to at least go into the actual recording part.
Yes.
Which then brings us on to the next point, which is very, very specific, I think, very important when it comes to doing a live recording.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is my downfall. Can it be family friendly?
Yes. It's important though, because I personally have a rule with all the podcasts I've done, including this one, which is when it's our podcast in this space, we set the tone. We know what we want it to be and we know who we want our audience to be. And if you don't like that, everyone has free will to not listen to it. That's a choice you have. But when it's a live event, I don't think you can carry that same sort of attitude, because people will do a drive-by, listen and stuff. Like they will just be walking in, enjoying the con, and then come across you. They don't necessarily choose to take part. They just want to be, oh, what's this? I never heard of it before. So you do have to be, I think, a lot more considerate.
Exactly. Being on the main stage at Manchester Central means that there will be a lot of different types of people who will be listening to us. Con-goers in general, obviously, they're all con-goers.
Yeah.
But there will be families with kids. There will be cosplayers of different ages. There will be older people who might just not be fully engaged, but it doesn't matter. But also we have the responsibility to represent the people who gave us the opportunity. So if we decided to be like, oh, whatever, I'll just be cursing like a sailor while I'm on stage, that just not only reflects badly on my choice to do that in a public setting when there's a lot of kids around, for example, but also it would harm my relationship with the people who invited us there. So this isn't just about cursing, obviously. It is about the choice of topic, the choice of games or activities we decide to do, the choice of questions we give out to the audience, if there is that, the choice of interactions we have with guests that are on stage with us. There is a lot to plan to make sure that it just doesn't go sideways in that regard. It also takes a lot of discipline in the moment, because love it or hate it, I just generally curse a lot as a person, and it is in my culture. Yay, Maltese people, we love that. And it just is what it is. You know, I love it or hate it. It is a part of who I am. However, I have to be very conscious not to say anything like that in public. Small funny story. When I was in college, I went to an IT college, and we did a lot of PowerPoint presentations, because it was about 20 something years ago now. And there it is.
There's that swear. There's a curse.
and I have a background in performing. We have discussed this before. When I was younger, I did a lot of performing in front of sizable crowds of people. However, because giving out a presentation was something that I was being assessed over rather than entertaining, it tapped into a very, very different part of my brain. And it felt more like public speaking rather than entertaining. And therefore, my brain decided to cope with it by cursing a lot in class, in front of lecturers and stuff. And I never really noticed. It was such a thing that I was doing without even realizing that one of my teachers said, I don't understand why you normally don't speak like that.
Yeah.
And for some reason, because you're in front of a crowd, it is almost like a nervous tick that you're doing. And this was a teacher I was quite friendly with, and I thought he was like pulling my leg.
Yeah.
He was in his mid-20s,
Yeah.
and I was like 18, 19. And I'm like, you're with me.
Yeah.
Lol. And he was like, no, I'm not, like, genuinely. So on my following presentation, I asked him to do a little recording. And it was very embarrassing because I was literally cursing repeatedly and it like over and over in the same sentence, in every sentence. And I just didn't know I was doing it. I was so stressed and anxious, I suppose. But since then, I have improved. It only slips out naturally now in language.
Yeah.
But yes, it is something that I try to keep very mindful of.
It's all about, and it goes back to an earlier point as well, which is that when you're doing a live event, it's all about doing your post-production in the moment. Because again, we edit. You think we swear on this podcast, but so much gets cut out. It's because we're like, that's a bit much, or like, and it's like, so you can't do that when you're live.
We are giving the best impression of ourselves right now. That is great. That is great. That's great.
But when you're live, you've got to do that in the moment. So it's all about like, okay, I can't make edits on stage. That's not how my life works.
And we have now done 3 live events. We're going on our 4th one, and we haven't had a single complaint yet. So I promise you that despite me saying all of this, we are actually very good at keeping it tame for our audience. I think the biggest... my strong suit is playing from the audience. So if anyone is interacting with us, we know we are very good at, we're both actually, Jamie more so, because he has the experience with it, where I'm still learning the presenting and hosting and all this hullabaloo. If someone is responding back to us or giving us something to go off of, we are very good at that back and forth, and it's a lot of fun, I think. I genuinely really enjoy that part of the process of doing a live.
Yeah, I think, I guess it's part of the same point really, isn't it? That it's not just about making sure that your tone and your cadence is right for everyone, but also actually making sure that you're engaging with them as well, like, and making them feel involved in it. And you will find that. I would definitely recommend listening to our RakuCon live episode, because that is a perfect example of us interacting back and forth with the audience, sharing our thoughts.
It was a good laugh. It was such a good laugh.
Getting them to share their opinion of us. They did not agree with us and everything, which made it more interesting.
Which was even better.
Yeah, it made it fun, because then you could start a conversation going. I think it's very much more so than a pre-record like this. It's very thinking about the audience first.
Yeah. It was fun at the end of the Raku one when everyone came up at the end as well and said, they had a great time and we shook hands, we took a couple of selfies, they had a couple of hugs.
Yeah.
It was very, very nice.
Yes.
It was such a wholesome experience.
Yes.
And we are hoping that this year we will be able to do the same thing. And I have a feeling I already know the topic that I am going to be tackling for Raku, because this year I will be turning 40 years old. You have to beep that one. I will be turning 40 the weekend of RakuCon. So I am totally hijacking the after party as my 40th birthday party. Thank you in advance, Jake and Kay, for organizing the most kick-ass 40th birthday party you can muster. This is the moment where you go and buy yourself a ticket for RakuCon, because, oh my God, he's turning 40. He's going to be all sorts of wild.
Yes.
And if my friend's Phantom Cat can tell you anything about me at RakuCon, is that I'm always partying and always drunk, apparently. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Definitely, maybe.
Get your tickets.
Get your tickets
Get
at Raku.
tickets to the after party if you can.
Yes, 5-year celebration for
yeah.
Raku and 40 years for me.
If you want to see us,
Lol.
then that's a really good way to do it.
Awkward way to do it.
Good way to do it.
I thought you said
That's a really awkward way to do it.
Just show up. At
It will be awkward. Don't try and see us on Sunday, but because we'll be
Yes.
hungover. But
Yes.
but no,
Yes.
it's going to be fun. I can't wait for that.
Yeah. Very exciting. But back to the weekend at hand.
Yes.
That is more or less everything that we have to keep in mind with preparing the topics at hand. We have some ideas already. We are very late in announcing the topics, mostly because we wanted to let the people at AnimeCon know in advance what we wanted to talk about. However, since we came back from ScotiaCon, I have been quite ill. My asthma has not been very good. I have struggled breathing a lot and not being able to sleep, not being able to focus, which has not been great. So preparation for AnimeCon was good up until we went to ScotiaCon, and now I'm back and I'm feeling amazing. Yes, I'm feeling amazing. That said, there is a lot that is going to go on aside from the live talks
Yes.
at AnimeCon. It will be the first time that we're bringing my full MCM setup to
Yes.
an AnimeCon event. I decided to choose the Manchester event as an opportunity to do this, because even though AnimeCon Manchester is a first-time show, it is our first time exhibiting in Manchester, I have this thought that there is no way any event in Manchester isn't an amazing event. It just is what it is. The community there is very much, is very queer-coded, is very interested in arts, very interested in geeky stuff, very interested in anime, very interested in cosplay, drag, everything. So it is like a massive hub for queer creatives and even people who aren't queer. The straight people we know there are equally as nerdy and all those good things, right? So I don't think I've ever had a single bad show in Manchester. Even with something like, blocking this out right now because we can't tell you which event it was, the lack of people was insane.
Yeah.
However, after finishing the event, realizing just how much spending money people in Manchester usually take with them, it was still a good event.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm very hopeful that this is going to be the right event to bring all the guns out. And in that spirit, I am also releasing a new collection of 6 or 7 designs, and they will be launching at AnimeCon Manchester. A lot of the designs are anime themed.
Yes.
I want to say that they're all except for one
Yes.
are anime themed, and all except 2 are anime themed. One is from Digital Circus, which is a collab with Jamie, who is doing more and more art under my tutelage and encouragement. And he is quickly learning that I am a very severe and strict art teacher, but the results are there. And the other design is just a continuation of my ever-growing Sonic the Hedgehog collection, and it's a new Shadow design
So
because
It's so good.
everybody loves Shadow.
Yeah.
It should be the new sitcom instead of
Everybody loves
Raven.
Shadow. Everybody loves Shadow.
But yes, that will be dropping. We will have new t-shirts, new prints, new everything. Unfortunately, even though I wanted to make an order on time with our dear friends and sponsor, Decal Empire, much love, I didn't manage to finish all the stuff that I wanted to order from them on time, and now it's a little bit too late. I know that if I did ask, I would get everything posted on time. But instead of doing a rushed order this time, I'm actually planning on something a little bit more special with my first collab with them for the year. So I'm taking my time, and we will do something a little bit better in the coming month.
It's I can't wait for you to see the designs. They're really, really exciting.
They're good. I feel like I leveled up on the series that I was working on. So the new designs look good now, and now I'll have to go back and edit some of the prior designs to match up the new style I'm working on.
And if for any reason you are unable to make it to AnimeCon but still want to find out what's going on with the event, one, obviously that new design will be making a drop eventually on the website, so check it out when it's there. But also, don't worry, for the first time ever, we're having roaming reporters on the field. Because something I used to really enjoy doing at the start of the podcast was being the roaming reporter. I've quickly come to the realization that trading and doing that is not feasible and not possible, unfortunately. But we've got 2 wonderful people stepping in to take on that adventure for us this weekend, haven't
we absolutely love them, and we're super excited to announce that our friends Strawberry Cosplay and Fruit Bat Cosplay are going to be joining us for AnimeCon weekend, and they will be out on the show floor, making content, asking questions, being absolutely the chaotic menace duo that they are. We absolutely love them. We're so grateful because, as Jay said, we have not been able to take a lot of footage of events during the day because I am getting older, and dealing with the table all on my own is something that I was able to do 2, maybe 3 years ago, and now I am generally very tired. So having someone alongside me is very helpful, and Jay doesn't feel great leaving me alone to go do a couple of hours, 3, 4 hours.
And it is that long.
Filming.
It's
It does
a long
take
time.
a long time to get to the right
You may
content.
see like 5 minutes of footage, but just that 5-minute interview can be like 15 minutes, and then it's crazy how much that spirals.
Yeah, and waiting for the person
be
that you're
free,
going to be interested to be free and not have customers, and not, sometimes you have to stop and go. So it does take a lot of time, and it's not always feasible. That is why you haven't seen a lot more of that. We would like to figure out a way how to do it. So if you're listening and you like to be interviewed at an event, you maybe you can get in touch and we can do said interview on setup day instead, or plan it for an earlier morning or something of the sort, or after the event closes for the day, unless you're like running out the door to get out of there. But yes, that is why we're doing less of it. However, excited that we have two amazing friends who genuinely just want to support what we do.
Yes.
What I do.
They've been so encouraging.
My fault. No. They've been super, super encouraging. They came up with the idea.
Yes.
And
We were like, jumped at the opportunity.
Please, yes, please.
You will have hopefully seen them, and they've done 2 episodes of us already, an interview
Yes.
and one part of our anniversary celebrations. So you will already know what a good vibe they are, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be really fun.
It is going to be fun. It is a way for our podcast family to grow, and it's always something welcome. You know, we never created the Convention Creatives just to be us.
No.
We created it with an idea, and it's fun to be able to work on that with other people.
The podcast family is forever expanding.
It is.
So,
Yes.
I think that's pretty much everything we need to go over, unless...
Yes, I have been contracting my chest and stomach and abs to not have a coughing fit because of this weird thing that is going on with my body. So I will thank you all for bearing with.
Yes.
And
again, thank you for being patient with us. I was completely unwell. I was completely unwell a couple of weeks ago. You're now feeling under the weather. So again, we appreciate
only I still recorded.
Yes, I was like, nope.
How about that?
See, some of us are hard grafters.
But to be fair, he has to edit. I do this part and then make a thumbnail.
So before I go off to edit this masterpiece for your enjoyment, do remember to find us on socials, keep up on the Patreon. I'm hoping to post an article in the next week or so about some lingering thoughts about the ScotiaCon experience and where I think that could take me in the future. So keep an eye on that. That'll be for our paid members. But to find out all the information, just watch the thing at the very end. And until we see you next time, it might be live on stage at AnimeCon. Hopefully
I hope so.
it is. But regardless where it is, until then, goodbye.
Love you, bye!